So last night I had one of my favorite classes that I do, and it's something that I've done and sort of grown as a person to realize this, this insight. And it's based on a lecture that Clayton Christensen used to do, and it's all about how are you going to live a life that is fulfilling, and how are you going to know that you're living a life that is very fulfilling for yourself. And it's really one of these things where you think about how you can apply some of the lessons that you learn in a business strategy class to your own life and understand what that sort of fulfilling life actually looks like. And the answer is never easy. And I never really want anybody to sort of end with this is like the definitive answer, but it's to sort of reflect on where is it that I'm actually going and what is it that I actually want to do at this moment. And it's a big question that we all have, and I think a lot of us don't think about this enough, of what it actually means to live a fulfilling life. So if you don't know me, I am Professor Dave Massack. I'm an Associate Professor of Innovation Strategy and Entrepreneurship. And I created this whole reciprocity project to give back as much as I possibly can. There's so many people that help me out that I wanted to pay the favor forward to help you out. So the answer seems really easy for most of us, or some of us might think the answer is really easy. You just go have a successful career and have a nice family, and that's the end of it. However, if you start looking at how this happens, it is really difficult for most of us, right? We have immediate returns. So anything that's measurable in this world are really easy to, they're really easy to sort of pursue and to create objectives for those particular things, right? So like career success, moving up in the corporate ladder, making more money, having a higher salary, having business performance, all of those things are really easy to measure. But things that are important, like the virtues that we have in life that are difficult to measure, like joy, happiness, well-being, all of those kind of things are very squishy and they're not easy to measure. There's no real easy answer to understanding what is the life that you're going to have. There's no easy answer to actually measuring those things. And if you try to measure them, they don't necessarily make sense to actually measure those things. Measuring love is not simply just measuring the number of hugs that you actually give or get. And the trouble is that ends up happening is if you sort of view your life in terms of objective things and measurable things, then those things push out anything that is squishy. So you're going to spend more time on your career, and you're going to spend more time on advancing in your career, and push away everything that sort of gives you more profound insight and more better feelings, basically, making you feel like you actually live a fulfilled life. And that question is actually very difficult to answer, and it's meant to be difficult to answer. I think we've studied this for thousands of years, going back to Plato and Aristotle, and thinking about those folks. We've been pondering these things for many years, and figuring out how do we know we're actually living a good life? What does that actually mean to live a good life? And that part of it, we need to actively engage, because the things that are easy to measure are going to push out all the things that make us truly, deeply happy in this world and have a fulfilling life. And we have to really concentrate on those things. So that's what the class ends with. Is really thinking about how do we prioritize things that are squishy, the things that are virtues in life. How do we prioritize those things and not get caught up in social comparison games where we're comparing with other people in terms of objective metrics? And that is a difficult thing, but we have to actively engage in it. We have to go towards it. So it means, caring for other people, even when you don't want to care for them. It means sticking your hand out, um, even though it's going to cost you time and effort to stick your hand out and give somebody, just treat people nicely. Those things cost time, they cost effort, they are difficult to do, they are a cost center. And in the immediate moment, you're not going to want to do those things. They're uncomfortable. Having an uncomfortable conversation with somebody about, whether you actually like them and you want to be around them, that's difficult to actually do that. Having an uncomfortable conversation about, hey, we need to work on this thing, that's difficult to do, and we're going to want to avoid all of those kind of things. So where I'm going with this is to make sure that you reflect on that. What is it that you want to live, and how do you know you're actually going to live it? Because life is very quick. It actually disappears very quickly, and you're going to get to a moment where you're going to look back and you say, holy cow, I did all of this kind of stuff and I achieved all of this kind of things, but it didn't necessarily bring me any fulfillment. And how do I know I'm actually going to be fulfilled when I actually get there? Nobody lives forever. We always have a 100% chance of dying, and we have to reflect on what does that mean at the time when I'm going to die. What is my life actually going to look like, and what am I going to say about it, and how are other people going to remember me by? Thinking about your legacy, thinking about all of these things in our life are super important. They center us. They give us some insight in where we should go, and the decisions that you're going to make based on these objective criteria and performance, all of those things are so different than thinking about how am I going to live a fulfilled life, and what does that actually look like in our life. We need to stop and think about those things. It's a squishy topic. It's a topic that is very important, though. And it's a topic that I think most business schools never talk about, and most business professors never talk about. But it's one of the most meaningful conversations you're ever going to have, and it's one of the most meaningful moments that you're ever going to experience in your life, when you stop and think about what does all of this mean, and just think about that. I think it's an important lesson that we should all take away and spend some time reflecting on, how am I actually going to live a fulfilling life, and what does that actually look like for me? All right, so with that, give me a thumbs up, do subscribe to the YouTube channel. Take care and have a wonderful day.